Oh, hang on. Hang on. Keep going. Keep going.
Awesome.
That's Danjean Dimitrine.
They're very good. Very good.
Danjean Dimitrine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to That Pedal Show viewers, comments and questions.
Willkommen, bienvenue.
Bonjour. La piscine. L'accoutrement.
We're nearly there. We're nearly there. The sun is eking its way out, but the warm temperature is yet to arrive.
We had a few days of it.
Yeah. Anyway, daylight saving. So if you're confused in the US that we're an hour earlier than normal, it's because the clocks have gone forward here in most of Europe.
Oh, it's a European thing as well, is it?
I believe so.
How do you feel about it, Michael? It's your energy then. You were like...
Well, it changes depending on where you are in the year.
Yeah. Do you not just think it should just be like it is now for the whole year?
Because then it's too dark in the morning for me
Oh, okay.
in the winter.
Right.
So,
Because that right wouldn't be
hang on,
wouldn't
is
be
that
light.
right? So if I get up at 6:30
Right.
and the clocks go... No, it would be lighter, wouldn't it? Is that right?
You lose an hour.
Because in October,
Mm-hmm.
if I get up at 6:30, then it would be 5:30.
Right. Okay. I don't even know.
But if it stayed...
I think I think it's the other way.
Meltdown.
I think it's the other way. I think you do because you lose an hour, but because it's summer and it gets bright really early. But no, I think you're right. I think it will be too dark in the mornings without it. Because you get to sleep in an extra hour when the clocks go back.
Yeah, it's not so much that. I mean, you could argue that we don't really need the extra hour of daylight from now on.
It's nice though.
Like, who needs it light till 10 p.m?
Yeah, it's nice though.
It is nice. It's great. But the point I was saying about age, well, let's start on a tangent then, is the older you get, the more mornings matter to you than evenings.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's where I am anyway, being like ultra boring. Could it be any more pedal show than moaning about daylight saving? Anyway, God, welcome to That Pedal Show viewer comments and questions on Monday the 30th March as we get ready to kiss goodbye to the 31 days of March and consign it to the 13 billion years that have passed thus far.
Yes, I've enjoyed March. I'm glad. January and February for me, being an Australian in the UK is always hard. I can do December because it's Christmas and there's joy and, you know, the kids and family and fun. But January and February in the UK are challenging for me. But March was good, but I cannot wait for some sunshine. Get the Weber out. Barbecues. Be fun.
Welcome to our podcast listeners on patreon.com. I've yet once again forgot to press go on the recording. But to be honest, you just missed a massively long tangent and moaning about daylight saving.
Well, I didn't think it was moaning. I just thought it was a valid point of view.
Yeah. You know, valid points of view. God.
That's moaning.
And if anyone hasn't seen Angine de Poitrine yet, just push the rock off. Look at any social media platform and you will see them. Anyway, hello to Dr. Mexicoil, Coy, We say Turd Ferguson, hello. We say BV, thank you very much for moderalising.
Yes, mate.
Michael Giliberto is on, and Pedmutor is on. Jack Russell Bruce is on. Johnny T is on. Hey Johnny, how are you? Todd Roy is on. Sebastal23. Carl Tomlin, Broken Oars podcast. Probably still doing schoolwork. Oh, no homework. Easter break.
Nice.
Wow.
James Bless is on. Bill Green, the Mango, and Daniel Mitchell is on.
Derek Cullen, Ian Bogle.
Moon. David Tompkins is on. Gordon Neal, g'day, mate.
The Tom Danger is on.
Nice.
Cyril Frost. Scott from Baltimore. Oh, there we are.
There you go. Chris Quinn, hey buddy. Hello from Seattle.
We look bright tonight. Dan Otley, Thomas Eichinger, James Blessed, and lots of lovely, lovely friends. Todd Roy is on. No, Simon V. Where are you, Simon
Your dad's
V?
on, Mick.
Is he? Hello,
Yeah.
Dad. Hope all is good. Hope all is good. I'll just check.
S.R. Sanders, hello from Tennessee.
Ah,
Got Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Tennessee.
Ciao.
Good. All right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn the super chats off now.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, why not? Let's just turn them off now. Because it's about 20, so we can give good and thorough answers
I like it.
and allow the possibility of a tangent or two, given that we started on one.
Started you mean to go on, Michael?
Yes. Bebsy, what are you... Could you get me some coffee, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you need tea as well?
If you can be asked, that would be
Okay.
really
and
great.
where is the fez of truth? Because we have to do some business.
Oh, yes.
It's in the thing.
I'll have an affogato. Thank you very much.
Oh, I do like an affogato. Right. Before we get into it, housekeeping. Have some housekeeping music. down there.
Housekeeping.
We'll start with the patron giveaway. Patrons, if you haven't already entered, check your Patreon messages for the link to enter the March pedal giveaway, which is 2 Fender pedals up for grabs. Thank you for being a patron. Pedal giveaways every month. Housekeeping is predominantly the 10 Golden Tokens updates after last week's changes to things. So we've picked one more Golden Token winner today. As a reminder of how to do this, we put every order from the TPS store in the last 7 days into a metaphorical hat. Consider it an Excel spreadsheet. And the random number that came out belongs to someone from the Netherlands, so a Golden Token is on its way to you today, person in the Netherlands. Prizes for the Golden Token campaign. One Experience Day ticket has already been won by Nick in Oxfordshire. We'll see you in December, Nick. And today we're picking prizes for 2 other Golden Token winners from the Fez of Truth. They would be Pete in New Zealand and Don in Newbury in England. So when Catherine comes back, we can get the Fez of Truth and pick the winners. And lastly, we have still 5 Golden Tokens up for grabs between now and the end of April. All you have to do is order for something from the TPS store and you're in with a chance. Check out the TPS store for details of all the cool things we're giving away as our final farewell to our 10th anniversary year. Thank you very much. Don't go changing.
Don't go changing.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Remember, if you're driving home, keep both feet on the wheel. What's it? I don't know. Okay. Have you watched the Peaky Blinders movie?
I have.
What do you
I
think?
know. Oh, well, I really loved Peaky Blinders, and I
Me too.
thought the ending already was perfect. He
Yeah.
goes off on the horse. It's great. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the movie we had to have.
No. It did feel a bit... Yeah.
The wonderful thing about TV series and modern high-budget TV series is because they're done in episodes, they have room to explore themes. And sometimes they can move slowly, but when it all kicks off, had character development and you feel involved. I was really liked Game of Thrones, and there's a spin-off of that called Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which apparently happens like 100 or 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Oh, can't be doing spin-offs.
And-
Just get another story.
But it is a different story, but it's in that world, which I liked. But it is fabulous. Now, episodes 2 and 3 are a little bit slow. By the time you get to the end, you realise you've had to have those episodes.
They've worked it
because
out.
the information in there that and it's like, and
Much
it's
like that pedal show.
mind-blowing. That's right. You've got to sit through the first 300, 350 episodes, because then when you get to now, it all makes sense. He's a pretty girl. He's a
here's
pretty
Rosie.
girl.
Okay,
I give up. I give up. Come on. Come on.
There we are.
Come on.
There we are. Okay, let's. Hello, Rose. What are you doing? You going to come up, or are you going to?
What do you want to do?
You gonna go see
what do you want
Dan?
to do? Come on.
There
Good
you go.
girl.
There you go.
Good girl. Good
Okay,
girl.
Rosie's in the house. Thankfully,
Rosie's in
you didn't
the
come and see us
house.
last week, did you, Rose? No. Thank you, Babbers. Right,
Find the Fez of
we'll
Truth.
do the Fez of Truth momentarily. Let's do a couple of super chats. Let's get into that. First into the super chats this week, and if I haven't already said, BV, thank you so much for
Yes, BV.
being across everything and keeping us informed. Actually, the first super chat is one that was missed from last week. Unless it was missed from this week, I am entirely unsure. It is from... Oh, it's Ian Bogle. Hello, Ian.
Bogle. Hey, mate.
And it was nice to see you on Friday. He says, thanks D&M and Catherine for an amazing experience today. Honestly, one of the most memorable of my life. Couldn't recommend it enough. Bit nerve-wracking playing, but Mick, you were brilliant at coaxing.
He is very brilliant at coaxing.
Well, there we are. And Dan, says Ian, thank you for the pedalboard tips. Biggest takeaway, modulation finally clicked. Makes so much more sense in a wet-dry setup. Princeton sounded incredible. Dan's rig, would it pair with a V40?
Oh, yes, it absolutely
Really would.
Yeah, that's a great shout, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very nice spending time with you, Ian, and everyone else that came to Experience Day on Friday. We had a lovely day.
Yeah,
A
we
lovely-
do love them.
Lovely day.
It's such a wonderful thing to interact with people who are we're all in this journey together. And at the end of the day, and we sort of split up into two groups, and I'll do pedalboard stuff, and there's people that come in here with Mick and do, they play loud and stuff. And it's what I love is when we swap the groups over, the first group that's been in here with you, and they walk in and they're floating. They're sort of levitating. It's like their minds have been just blown. And it's so great.
It's
So
good.
great.
They're good days. They're
Yeah.
good days.
Really great.
Johnny T says, hi, any chance of a 54 Les Paul custom demo on the show? The questions come in about Les Pauls quite a bit, because there's a lot of Les Pauls we don't feature because we don't own them. We've got, which we don't even have a junior. We've got an SG-shaped junior, or Dan has, that one there. I've got a Collings kind of double cut type one. But in terms of things with P90s, 50s customs, 50 standards and all of that, we're not really across it, and we should be. So let's make a point of doing that.
Yeah.
I might tap my friend up at Gibson and see if they'll send us some goodies.
Well, we could go and do it in there.
We could. They've got a good live room in there, actually. That's not a bad idea. Let's do that. Let's see if David will let us go to Gibson and
That would be brilliant
Use their
fun.
live room.
That would be brilliant fun.
yeah. I'm sure they will. It'll mean going to the where the streets are paved with gold.
Okay, Londinium.
She is a cruel mistress. Plexico, Duncan, how are you? He says, what a great show on Friday. Kudos to all.
Oh, mate.
Can you tell Duncan he's a very naughty boy?
Catherine says, you're a very naughty boy, Duncan, which probably means you've been spending money in the store again.
He refunded our refund.
Oh, mate. Bless you, buddy. Bless you for all your support. Yes, Madison Cunningham was on, and I don't know, it just felt really important.
You know what? That Pin It Down, right? When I first heard that, and she was like 21 when she recorded that or whatever, and that came out, she was a fully actualized artist at that point, right? And since then, she's reinvented herself like 3 times, and she's not 30 yet. She'll something will happen in her journey, and then she's like, "Oh, here's a door. Here's a creative thing. I'm gonna go and explore that." And then and it's just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind how. I guess that's what artists do.
That's what great artists do, isn't it? I also think we've
wonderful.
got a bit of historical bias on it, because if you went back to the 60s and looked how young they all were when they got going,
That's true.
some of them anyway.
Yeah, that's
Wasn't
true.
Kossoff 16 when they did All Right Now or something crazy like that?
Wow.
Or maybe Andy Fraser was, I don't know. Anyway, she is undoubtedly amazing. Felt really important to do it on the show, and we just had a lovely time. So
Yeah.
hope you've all watched it and soaked in the goodness
Yeah.
that was emanating from that show.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Duncan.
Yep.
Jordan Drager. Jordan Drager says, hello from Canada.
Canada.
Do you have any thoughts on power conditioners? UPS? Presumably not the courier. Power bars. I feel like this gets overlooked in wet, dry, wet discussions, but ground loops can easily pop up in these situations. Thank you.
Yeah, so the ground loops generally are not occurring because of a lack of a power conditioner. They're occurring because you've got too many paths to Earth.
Yeah,
The-
power conditioner won't help you with a ground loop.
No, but good power is super, super important. I think for consistency. So a lot of touring artists. What's the Japanese power conditioner that?
I know the one you mean, the one that Thorpe's got.
Yeah, Kazooie or Yakuza. Oh, anyway, the Yakuza. No, it's a lot of hospitals use them because no matter where you go, you plug any voltage into it and it'll output a stable voltage. But it's also, if everything fails, it gives you like half an hour of, like, with all the amps and everything plugged into it, it'll keep going for like half an hour. So it's,
To keep the old
yeah.
going and
Or-
the machine that goes bing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Incidentally, if you think Pin It Down is good, go and listen to Hospital by Madison Cunningham. Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
It's
Hospital.
all right. So, yeah, no, power conditioners are great. The good ones are really expensive. And there's no sort of halfway house. The Furman make really good ones. Yeah,
Thank you to Andrew and Leyland Berg, who are all telling me that UPS means uninterruptible power supply.
yeah.
And some other people are saying Kikusui. And
Kikasui, that's the one.
a few people are saying that. I was reluctant to read it out unless I was saying my ballsack or something like that, which,
Yeah.
like Mo from The Simpsons. Amanda Hugginkiss.
Hello. I'm gonna have to.
Hugh
Mr.
Jazz.
Jazz. First name Hugh. Hugh Jazz?
Yeah.
Is there a Hugh Jazz? Yes, I'm Hugh Jazz. I'm going to live with you, sir. There's a prank call kind of gone wrong. Well, better luck next time.
So there we are. Yes, so they won't, as Dan said, none of those will help you with ground loop hums, unless there's one that just, when you plug it in, it's all a single thing to earth, but that wouldn't be the case, would it?
No.
No. So you need to solve it on the board itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot. Dan makes numerous devices that will do it.
The audio stuff, but the power stuff is different. As in the mains power conditioning stuff, there's some really clever stuff out there. I think Furman's good because they concentrate on the mains power stuff.
Yeah.
You want a specialist, but the Kikasui thing is the
in the-
uninterrupted power supply is really interesting.
In the context of a wet, dry, wet discussion, it's all about the effects and the board.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
that's where we were.
Yes, yeah.
Chris W. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
He says, hey lads, I have a 30-minute drive to work daily and I love listening to VCQ. Last Monday, you managed 2 super chats in 30 minutes. Long live the tangents. Great show last Friday. Keep it up. If you think we're bad, go and listen to The Truth About Vintage Amps with Jason Valindi and Skip Simmons. Man, they answer about 3 amp questions now. It's brilliant. I think, Dan, can we have some pensive, sort of suspenseful music?
Yep.
It's time to pick, is it? I've read it out, yeah.
Have you read the instructions?
D'Angine to Poitrine.
Oh, I just love them so much. You want some suspense? Okay.
We're going to pick prizes. Maybe with slightly less transient. Slightly less.
So all the remaining prizes are in the Fez of Truth.
Right,
Give it
all
a good old shake
the
up,
remaining prizes are in the Fez of Truth.
and you're going to pick 2 today.
And we're picking for Pete in New Zealand and Dawn in Newbury. So Pete in New Zealand, you're first. Let's give them a good mix up. What would you like to pick, Dan?
I'll pick one, you pick one.
All right. This is for Pete in New Zealand.
He's channeling.
Pete in New Zealand. You have won. That's going to be hard.
This might be difficult.
Well,
We knew this would
I
happen.
said I've warned him. He has
Okay.
an option.
Okay.
All right. So what Pete in New Zealand has won is a half-day pedalboard surgery at TPS. Now,
You can come if you want, Pete.
that's that.
What do we do if he can't do it?
We'll pick something else.
Okay. All right. So there you go, Pete. If you're coming to the UK, you can have a half-day pedalboard surgery with me and Dan.
Come
This
and
is
hang
the
out.
problem of having an international
It's not the problem.
international
flipping
audience.
brilliant.
It's brilliant, says Catherine. Dawn
Jesus.
in Newbury.
I'd go.
Don,
I'd jump on a plane.
I'm going to guess these should have been picked the other way around. Don, you've won a ticket for TPS filming with one guest.
Oh, cool.
So Don in Newbury, you can come here, bring a guest, and you can sit in on a filming session. How cool is that?
Right, let me write Dom on it. Let me write Pete on this.
Nice.
That was very cool.
That is cool.
Very,
is
very
cool.
cool.
Great prizes.
Andrew R. Any chance there will ever be any love for the JC120, Roland JC120 on TPS? If you used one in a wet dry rig, I think it should be the wet amp ? Well, Andrew, we'll recount a story from years ago where we had a JC120 in the old studio at Dan's place at the gig rig, and we were demonstrating the fantastic chorus sound you get out of a JC120 because one speaker is wet and one is dry, and we mic'd one speaker.
We were there going, listen to that, it sounds amazing, and the recording's just like, meh.
Oh no, I pumped up the
You did,
I
you
pumped
did.
up the
You
room
did a
mic
good
so you
job.
could kind of hear it, but yeah, so interestingly, in the JC120's case, if you use the onboard chorus, it is already wet dry because you've got vibrato coming out of one speaker and the other, nothing coming out of the other speaker. Well, dry sound coming out of the other. But yes, it would be good. I very nearly bought one a few times because sometimes
Yeah.
they come up cheap, and
I
it would be
really-
good to have one. You
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I really liked the JC40. I thought it was wonderful, but it was just the noise floor was too much.
They fixed that
Did they?
by all accounts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
I think, you can't argue with the JC120. It's been used by so many people to such fantastic effect and has created, timeless noises. For Dan and I, we're just used to tube amps, and they do a very different thing when they're loud. Just the way they deliver certain frequencies, and it just takes a minute to get your head around it. So it would be good to have one, use it more frequently, and learn something a bit about that.
Yep, I dig it.
Yeah, we did it. We've done a show recently using the new Victory Power Valve 200 that will be a week on Friday. And when I'm doing the audio for that, in the room, it's like, flipping heck, it sounds amazing. Doing the audio, it's like, oh yeah, that is definitely doing a different thing
Oh, interesting.
than the stuff we're used to.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 180 watts of solid state
Yeah.
power
Bit.
is quite different. Because you
Okay.
think it's compressing and you think it's crapping out, and I don't know. It's just a very different delivery, isn't it? A physicist would be able to explain it. Anyway, yes, well, I'll keep looking out for one, and if I see one at a good price, I'll get one. O'Neill Mark 1. O'Neill Mark 1. With multi-channel amps such as the Victory MKX. Oh, well, this is for you. O'Neill Mark 1. What are your thoughts about relying on amp overdrive with wet effects in the loop? How would you switch channels on a 2 amp rig setup in this way? Thank you. Okay, the show week on Friday is exactly for you.
Yes.
Because we're talking to you. We're talking to people who want a wet dry rig, and they want to use channel switching amp, and they want to use their effects loop. So if you've got 2 separate amps, it's a pain, right? Because you want the overdrive from your MKX in your case, or whatever, doing both amps. And there is a way to do that. It's the way Andy Timmons sets his rig up. It's the way Dan and I approach the show in 2 weeks' time. And it relies on using the aforementioned Victory Power Valve 200 as a separate power amp to essentially be the return on your wet effects. And you can have that mono or stereo. It's pretty interesting, wasn't
It
it?
was a very interesting show. That flippin' boogie.
Oh yeah, we did it with a Mark III Mesa, but same thing, you know, three modes, clean, crunch, and lead.
Yeah.
And
But what an amp.
sounds pretty amazing. Sounds pretty amazing. So yeah, you can do it. And Mark, that show a week on Friday will be for you. Dr. Mexico. Coley? Mexico. Sorry, my eyes can't quite see that. Hey D&M, I'm a recent convert to wet dry and high headroom. I now need to find a pedal that replicates my Vox AC10 at gain 5. Breaking up beautifully, warm and delicious. Any recommendations? TIA Nath. Thanks in advance, Nathan.
Very good. Very good. We had...
Voxy overdrives?
Yeah. It's tricky. So your AC10, is it an AC10 with an EF86 channel or just 12x7? I'm assuming it's a 12x7. Okay. I would say right. The sound of an AC10 cranked is more than just the preamp section of an AC10. It's the sound of the 10-inch speaker, sound of the smaller cabinet, all of that stuff. I would suggest something with a 12AX7 valve overdrive stage, but with pretty good EQ things. So something like where is it?
Victory do a copper pedal.
Yeah, the copper's really good.
J Rocket used to do an AC flavoured pedal. Wampler definitely do one.
Yes, the Wampler one's really good.
So there are various overdrive pedals that will emulate the sound of a Vox amp, not least the digital modelling options if you want to go down that road. Stuff like the Ruby from Universal Audio. However, sort of building on what Dan was alluding to, rather than go for a specific pedal that emulates the whole amp, because you're going to be plugging it into your amp, I actually think a combination of boost and EQ, overdrive and EQ might get you closer.
Yeah.
So you want a nice, nothing too dark sounding. You want to be able to chop some bottom end out of it.
Yep.
I mean, having said that, I think the Victory Copper would be a great
I agree.
great way to go.
Yeah.
But we're playing a couple of overdrive pedals today, one which we can't talk about because it's not out till May. But that cymbal, right, from Mad Professor, it's supposed to sound like a Dumble. It's got plenty of chimey
And lovely mid-range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good
Sounding
shout.
great. Greer Lightspeed will do it.
Great, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just you want to be able to get the tone round enough to get the jangle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that trying to match the tones, if from one amp to get one amp to match another tone is for mostly it's folly, but trying to get a flavour of that thing, there was top boost in a can, Menatone. Right, the Menatone top boost in a can overdrive is epic, and that will give you that specific voxiness, but it works in a pedal format. It's not you can plug it into a high headroom amp and it will sound amazing. I've put them on a few pedal boards that needed some AC flavors, and they are exceptional.
Yeah.
Menatone top boost in a can.
Lots of suggestions coming through in the chat as well. So something there might appeal to you in the chat. Some really good suggestions. So
Yeah.
there you go, Andrew. And sorry, Dr. Mexico, aren't we? Yeah. And I hope you enjoy that higher headroom and pedals and wet dry thing. It's an interesting relearning process. Turd Ferguson. Truly inspiring show on Friday, says Turd Ferguson.
Yeah.
How does one combat tone suck? That's to say, when your pedals are not engaged, on Boss pedals that otherwise sound great.
So the tricky thing with Boss pedals is they're buffered, and when you start chaining those buffers together, it introduces other issues. The easiest thing is to put them in some sort of quality loop switcher. I find that works really well.
Know anyone who makes that?
Some guy, I hear he's hard work, but he's very handsome, so people put up with him because of that. Yeah, so that's one of the issues with the chaining those Boss things together. And I know what you mean. It's different than tone suck. It's when all the buffers start working in together, and they can. Yeah, it's kind of almost like a feed forward thing. It's a bit weird. I find that works really well. Yeah. Just it comes down to getting that stuff out of your signal path when you don't need it. I say no more.
Yeah, and you don't notice it till you notice it.
Once you've noticed it, there's no going back.
Yeah. It goes the other way as well. Like, Dan's done boards for people that once you take all the mucky muck away and you put in a switcher and a super clean power, they're like, oh my God, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's too clean. It's too much fidelity. All the chew and all the stuff I was losing and sort of getting over in different ways before has now been replaced by this fidelity that I'm struggling to deal with. That happens as well. So it's not always a bad thing, tone suck, if you've learnt to deal with it in your rig and that's the sound you like. So, but like anything, once once you understand what's happening, then you can decide whether
That's right.
it's right for you or
That's
not.
exactly it. It's having an understanding of what's actually causing the issue, because there's always more than one way to skin a cat.
Oh, don't skin cats.
Yeah, or it's cat-like objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Russell Bruce. Jack, nice to hear from you, buddy. We met Jack on Friday. He says, Ankles, it was amazing to meet you on Friday. Thank you for an amazing time of tone. How does the wet-dry setup in the room translate to recording songs? What, if anything, do you do differently?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm actually going to do a little vlog on how I recorded some of my wet-dry stuff, and it did involve reamping because I did it all at home. But I find that if I've got a really good sound, I'll print as much of it as is possible. As in, if I've got, effects and delays and stuff, I will actually record with those on, as opposed to just recording a dry amp and then adding all the effects in post. And especially with the wet-dry thing, if you've got that sound and it's inspiring, and it's doubly important if what you're recording, in a room with a band, just, a mic on each amplifier, 2 tracks, and then you've got some options as well when you're mixing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Useful. That's really useful. It's a little bit of a generalization, but for me, wet-dry is more about live, because it's just a bigger sound and it's a more produced sound live, right? Especially if you're in an ensemble that allows you a bit of space to play. Like we've said it before, if you're hammering away in a 5-piece rock band and there's no space, then you don't want to be standing on loads of delays necessarily, or big spacey reverbs or whatever. The more room your music has to move, the more you can get into cool sounds and filling that space a little bit. I think, and again, it's totally music dependent. As Dan said, if you're going for sort of like a liver feel of people in a room playing, then just recording it as it is with the wet dry and everything, and having the post options to have more of one and less of another is great. But if you're tracking, like seriously tracking music, and it's quite dense and there's lots in it, I would probably steer away from wet dry and use the ability to create multiple tracks, use buses for sends, for different effects and stuff, to do a lot of the stuff in post. I think one of the reasons things like stereo rigs and wet dry wet and all of that happened was because they went into studios, made these amazingly giant guitar sounds, and just thought, shit, how are we going to do this on the road? Right. And I think that's where it came from. Because, they managed to multi-track guitars. They then used post-processing with delays and reverbs and stuff. And then it was like, how on earth are we going to play this live? Oh, I know. What we need to do is get into racks, mix line level and instrument level, and start doing all of that, which is how that all began. So, it's completely music dependent, completely genre dependent. I have to say, I dig the sound of a very simple guitar sound with one speaker and one mic.
Yeah.
As it gets busier.
Yeah.
Because you can put it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. But if, it's all context. If you're recording a 3-piece and you've got a great wet dry thing going on, recording both amps and then
100%.
Messing around with it, but getting it recorded live, printing it to committing to it is great, really great.
What divided by 13 amp is that, says Martin GQ7TP. It is, and I keep forgetting, they do have
39
very hard names to remember. It's an AMW 39. It's kind of martially. It sounds fantastic. We've got a few on loan at the moment. 2 Rock bought divided by 13, or Eli at 2 Rock bought divided by 13, and Dan likes it.
Oh, Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
Making me feel all the feels.
really nice amp. And we've got a couple of others here that will appear in coming months. It's really, really nice. The amp that I was trying to remember earlier was the Matchless Chieftain.
The Chieftain, yes.
It's just come to me.
Very good.
I was saying it reminds me a little bit of a Chieftain.
Yeah.
A little bit. Johnny T says R.I.P. Dash Crofts. Summer Breeze on acoustic, please. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, Johnny, I didn't know who Dash Crofts was. I had to Google him when that came in. But yeah, R.I.P. indeed. AJ here, Broken Oars podcast. No ontological questions this week and no homework. It's Easter break. Yay! So I'm baking with the girls. Take one from the chat. Hello to all and have a good one. Okay.
Oh,
we
beautiful.
will. Enjoy your baking.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, what happened to our madeleines yesterday, Bevis?
We didn't have all the ingredients.
Oh, no.
Do you make madeleines?
Yeah,
Oh, they're hard to make.
I've got skills.
You do have skills.
Mad skills.
I like what you did there.
Mad skills. Madeleine skills.
It runs
All right.
alongside my modesty.
Okay. All right. Okay, here's one from Dylan Tolan. Dylan Tolan 1108 says, if I'm using the gig rig, so I presume you mean G3 or G2, with amps, preamp in a loop, and I wanted to use my Strymons with MIDI after the preamp, but not in a gig rig loop, would I put them in between the gig rig out and the power amp return?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it. And then you're not taking up a loop. You can go direct out. The only thing you're going to miss with that is if you need extra isolation. So what I would do, if you're getting any noise at all, stick a humdinger between the send of your preamp loop and the input of the amplifier. What that will do is it will disconnect the earth connection that you got by connecting the preamp on the front of the amplifier to the effects send on the back of the amplifier. It'll mean that the only earth connections are both at the back of the amplifier, so that should be fine. But exactly that, out of the output into the Strymons, control the Strymons by MIDI, out of the output of the Strymons back into the effects loop, return to the amplifier. That will work great. Actually, that's what we did originally with Rabia's rig. He was, the Strymons were external. Yeah.
There you go.
Very good.
There you go. Ian Bogle, we answered yours at the beginning. All good. Tom Dickinson. Hello, Tom. Tom Dickinson says, I'm loving my new custom shop SG, Gibson, I presume, but the traditional frets seem very wide and low. My Fender loving hands prefer a tall and thin fret to really grab the notes. Is this an issue you've had, and how do you get around it?
Yeah, so the frets on this one are wide and very low, but this, I don't play this guitar that much, and it's all original, and there's no need for me to mess with it, and it sounds fabulous. One thing to be aware of, if you want to put in 6105s or something, great, and they'll work really well, but they do change the sound of the guitar because you'll have more detail. You'll get the intonation will be more on. The strings are a little bit higher off the fretboard, and yeah, it does change things quite a lot.
I'm the opposite. I like slightly bigger frets, and I'm not a massive fan of the standard Fender vintage ones.
Right.
Just because I've grown up playing predominantly 6105s. So,
Yeah.
But whichever way you prefer or don't prefer, the change can be off-putting. Stick with it for a bit. See if you... Because it's another thing that will make you approach that guitar differently from your Fenders.
Yeah.
One of the huge challenges, and forgive me, Tom, I don't know what your guitar playing history is, but if you've played predominantly Fenders for a long time and you pick up a Gibson, it's so alien. And there will be a period of time where you try and sort of get out of it what you're getting out of your more familiar guitar. And the real magic of a new guitar that's very different is to go with it and let it do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
And the feel of the frets might be a part of that soup. So stick with it for a bit. And, you know, if you can't get on with them, cool. Have them out. Put something else in there. I don't know if you can go really, really... You'd have to talk to a tech. And it might be that you could have them recrowned. But if they're low already, that would be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Dan and I both like a 6105. It's not,
Love the 6105.
it's not as wide as a 6100 or a Gibson fret, I don't think. It's a bit taller. And you can, yeah.
The other cool thing with the 6105s, though, is that you can dress them down.
Yeah.
I had to do that on red.
Jeans and a t-shirt.
Just
I just
exactly,
walked into
just
that party.
exactly that. It's casual Fridays for 6105s. You know, if you find them too high, you can just level them down a bit.
Yep. Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck, Tom. Serial Frost. Hello, Serial Frost. Hello from Baltimore. On my delay hunt, I was considering swapping my El Capistan for an ADG1, the Asheville Music Tools one, as I prefer analog delay modulation. What are your thoughts, pros and cons, aside from the lack of tap tempo? Cheers.
That's it. If you prefer analog delay, I mean, man, it's such a wonderful sounding thing. I do really like the El Cap. It was my first Strymon pedal. You know, I had mine since before the Timeline came out. They were really, really killer thing. So all that fidelity will go because you're going to go analog and you have the darker repeats and stuff. But boy, oh boy, that particular analog delay pedal, the ADGT, is that it?
ADG1.
ADG1, that's it. Analogizer. Yeah, just wow. What a spectacular sounding thing.
I was looking around. We've got a Capistan somewhere. I'm sure we have.
Yeah, I've definitely got mine over the road.
Did we buy? I thought we bought. Did we buy one? I thought we bought one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What he said. I tried the ADG one on my board because I'm having this massive fight with delay at the moment where I love the flexibility of digital delays, but they all just sound too pingy. Unless you can, I've got a new flight time on the way in, so I'm hoping that
will sort it.
That will sort it if
Yeah.
I can get enough treble off. Analog, I just love the sound of it, but it's not pingy enough.
Yeah.
It's just too dark for some
Yeah.
things.
Did you have a rehearsal on the weekend?
Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, right.
Yeah. And I had the Boonar Tube Deluxe, because, to the point, your El Capistan is based on a tape delay, right? And a lot of people get tape delays and analog delays confused, and they couldn't really be any different, be more different, because a well-maintained tape, as you know from your Strymon, is super high fidelity.
Yeah.
Beautiful high fidelity sound. And going straight to a Bucket Brigade analog delay, depending on how you run your El Capistan, might be like, where has my delay gone?
Mm-hmm.
If you use your El Cap for slapbacks, if you use it for texture, if you use it like sitting out of the way, and you use it for ambience, I think you're going to love the analog delay. If you use it for very specific things like a dotted eighth note repeat for playing U2 songs, if you use it for
exactly.
you know, really lovely 80s Lukather type delays, then you're not going to like the analog delay at all.
That's right.
Because it doesn't do that job.
Yeah.
And having said that, the ADG one does it certainly better than the carbon copy.
Yeah.
Better than the Analog Man one. The Sir one is fantastic.
Yep.
Is absolutely brilliant, and I would recommend that.
Yep.
For all its functionality.
Yes. Also, the Meraki.
Yeah, we haven't tried that yet.
The Meraki. But yeah, I think the ADG one, was fabulous. Also, bears mentioning that the Mark II El Cap with MIDI and presets and all that stuff as well. So obviously, if you're going to go down the pure analog route, you know, you're going to turn it on and manipulate the knobs and stuff, which is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you won't have access to presets. And
Sheridan's TV says, is the Memory Man the perfect in-between and the best of all worlds? It's still pretty dark, but they don't filter out, in the original Memory Mans, they don't filter out a lot of it.
That's right.
So it stays nice and present.
And it has a noise floor because it's not filtered. And the repeats go off different. The initial repeats with the Analog Man are quite bright. And after the first, maybe the second one, then it starts to get dark quick.
But with what, sorry?
With the Memory Man.
Yeah.
The initial repeat is still quite bright, and I think that's why it works so well. And then it darkens off. So cool.
There we are. It's an eternal quest, though, isn't it? I was saying I put the Boonar Tube Deluxe on, which is, I love the sound of it, but there are some functionality things that if you don't use MIDI are a giant pain in the ass, like selecting presets. Yeah, someone else mentioned that in the comments.
This is the Boss DM101. Check that out.
Yeah.
It's got like 8 delay chips in it. It's wild.
I still think my favourite actual delay sound is that 12-bit digital.
The Otto Machines BIM.
Yeah, and the 2290. Actually, it's not, but the Providence Chrono delay sounds fantastic.
Oh, so good.
Sounds so good. But then, read the conversation earlier. It depends what you're doing with it. It depends what you want it for. I'll show you, seeing as it is an exercise in absolute folly. I've been struggling to get my rotosphere into a usable place. It's too big for the pedal board, and it's having it on the floor is too vulnerable with a crappy power supply and everything.
Yeah.
So this is an old head shell that Paul at Zilla made for me years ago to put one of my Lone Stars in, because they were both combos and I wanted one in a head. So he made me a Lone Star head box. Anyway, I no longer do that, and I put some shelves in it. So I've got my tube rotosphere down there. I've got the Hughes and Kettner tape delay and the CXM up there. Dan, you won't like what I'm about to show you, but I'll explain why.
Okay.
I've put my cheapo Thomann power supply in because it's got AC.
Yeah. It's fine.
So it's powering both of the Hughes and Kettners.
Wow.
And the CXM.
Yeah, brilliant.
So it's just one in the loop of the TS1, in addition to what I've got on my pedal board. Now, I can switch, thanks to G3, I can switch this on and off and fast slow.
Yes. And that works
So
great.
that's fine, that can be out the way. Anything I want to do here, I have to do manually.
Okay.
But to the point.
Can you not remote switch that?
Not this.
Oh, can you not? Oh, that's disappointing.
I mean, obviously you can do this via MIDI,
of
but
course.
I'm not doing that.
No.
To the point. Tape delay, 1 or 2 heads. I never time it. It's there for that ambient sound in the background in addition to the time delays. So it doesn't matter. It's just, if I leave it open that much, I can just change a preset on here quite quickly.
Okay, that's nice.
And it's worked great. I plugged it in today and it works.
Brilliant.
It's really cool. Well, it's not cool, but it's
cool as you like, mate. That's brilliant. Are you kidding?
Solution I've been looking for. The point is about delay. This delay sound in here is just that wash of delay in the way that Andy does it.
Yeah,
So-
it's beautiful.
Lovely. And of course, it can actually just sit on top of the TS1 and run in its loop.
Yeah, fab.
So I'm quite pleased. Quite pleased.
Keeley have a new 12-bit delay coming out.
Do they?
Yeah, they've done a remake of the old Ibanez DM101, I think it is, and it's got the specific. You can get the modulation, so it sounds like a whammy, but it's a 12-bit proper 12-bit
nice.
delay. Yeah,
That's
it's
very
really really
exciting.
cool. The Freak. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, that's cool. My Otto machine though. That's it. It's man
It's
alive.
utterly spectacular.
Yep.
Mike Riddle says the Meraki is spectacular, but only does dual delays in stereo, which is amazing when you use it, but can be annoying if you're mono.
Oh, you can't sum them.
So they're not series. That seems like a massive oversight. That seems like a gigantic oversight.
Surely that's not. Surely. Okay, I'm going to have a look at that because
Yeah, I mean, one of the whole points of having
the
two delay lines is that they can be...
exactly that.
Yeah. Plink Stringley. Well, I might have turned the super chats off too early, but there we are. Plink Stringley looks to be last in, but I will check again. Hi, D&M. Mick, can you get for Dan... Mick, you can get for Dan to sit in gigs with any current artist. 1, someone you think would be on his bucket list. 1 you'd most like to see him play with that he would never think of. And Dan, the same for Mick. Okay, so I have to choose for you, Daniel. You can,
Right.
You can go and do a gig with any artist. The first one is somebody on your bucket list.
Mm.
And then secondly is the one you'd like to play with that you would never think of. So on your bucket list would be any form of a reformed Crowded House.
Bingo.
Would it?
Yeah, the first, that would be my dream.
Yeah. And someone that you would never think of. I'm going to put you with The War on Drugs.
Oh, mate. You knocked it out of the park, Michael.
I've been listening to The War on Drugs after Simon's been telling me for years to listen to The War on Drugs, and I dig it.
I was in conversation with him about coming on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a big day.
Yeah, amazing.
That would be a big day. There you go. So,
Okay.
someone who would be on my bucket list.
Okay, I reckon. It's interesting with Mick because Mick his music tastes are wide ranging. But there's specific elements within that wide range. So okay, I would say what was the name of that artist that did Golden Hour? Casey Musgraves. I would love to hear you play guitar with her.
That's a pretty good shout.
I reckon that would be magic.
Yeah. Any like Casey Musgraves or Aoife O'Donovan.
Yeah.
Or Sarah Jarosz.
Yeah. In any of those, I think would be amazing.
Or Madison Cunningham.
Yeah, or Madison
Any
Cunningham.
of them. I dig my my female Americana artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a big way.
So I'd love that.
Yeah.
One that is not so obvious. Would be I don't know this genre at all, but something like some rap dude.
Yeah, man.
Like 50 Cent or who are you into back in the day when you first got into it?
Well, I listened to a bit of that stuff. Who was I listening to this week? Yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to Thundercat a lot this week.
Thundercat.
I would never keep up with
man.
Thundercat. So.
Yeah, but I reckon
Yeah.
that sort of thing. I
Some
mean,
new soul, Erica Badu. I mean, that's sort of not rap, but it's definitely mixing my love of female singers with a more urban kind of music.
Snoop. Yep.
How long would I last in a gig with Snoop?
Go and jump in with Snoop. I reckon
Yeah.
that'd be awesome though.
Okay. I'm in.
That's brilliant.
Okay. Thankfully, it wasn't the end of the super chats. BV, thank you for reminding me. Benjamin Hooper. Hello, Benjamin. Just wanted to say a huge thank you again for a fantastic day on Friday. Ben. It was a real treat to see behind the scenes of TPS. D, M, and K, and the guys, you were all great. Hundreds of questions answered, and now I have 100 more.
Awesome.
But for now, have a pint on me.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ben.
it.
And it was good to meet you too, buddy.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yep. Joshua Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Poor old Dan's got a bit of a chesty business going on. Joshua Schwartz says, no question this week. Take one from the chat. Thanks for everything. Okay. Looking for a question.
I got one here from Johnson Malone. Greeting, gents. Mick, have you tried the Beatronics BBD? It has a tone control, high pass, low pass filter. It's a great pedal for everyday use and also quite a unique noise machine. Well, funny you should say that.
We had it.
Have it.
A pedals, sometimes we just chuck a few pedals on a board and do it. And we did it months back and we were both really impressed with it. I don't know if we might have given it away in a competition.
Yeah. That's not the one I was thinking of.
No,
Yes,
the Beatronics one is
the Beatronics one.
Yeah, I really liked it. What would put me off using a pedal like that is that there's so much going on. I'd have to spend 2 weeks with it to be able to figure it out, which is fine, but I don't have 2 weeks. And then in the middle of the gig where I'm like, oh God, my repeats aren't quite loud enough.
Yeah, I do.
But it did sound amazing. In fact, we've got a couple more Beatronics delays that have come in that we'll get on.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean, in a sort of more general answer to your question, there's so much great stuff out there, and I think most of it can do the job if you just have got time to put the time in. I'm looking for the holy grail of something I don't have to put any time into, and I just put it on. It sounds great. It's got 4 knobs, and
no matter where it goes, it's perfect.
well,
every time.
the 4 knobs are absolutely self-explanatory to what they do.
Yeah,
I don't have to
yeah.
hold down a knob and twist it to do some secondary thing. And yeah, my life is not long enough left to get into all that. Now that does change, right? If you've got a specific gig and you're playing predominantly the same set with the same band regularly, I think that's when you can really get into it.
Yes.
Because then things start to make change and you can go, oh, I didn't like that last night. And you've got micro improvements exactly with how we produce that pedal show. We do the same thing week in, week out. So then you know that you need to be an f-stop up or you need to 5 dB more gain in the mic pre's or whatever it is. You learn because it's the same. But my life's just not like that. And the stuff I do is sporadic and varied. So you never get to settle on a rig, which is frustrating. But yeah.
But Vandelson Donk says the King Crimson Project Beat is finally coming to Europe. Do you have plans to go and see them? I would love to go and see them. I love those Crimson tunes, and it'd be super interesting seeing that band. I'm assuming it's the same band.
Who? So not Matey Boy, Fripp.
No, so it's not Robert Fripp. It is. It's really interesting. When Fripp got Crimson back together for the latest round of tours, he just never called. What's his name? Come on, it was in Talking Heads and played with Zappa and astonishing guitar player.
Mike Keneally.
No. It'll come to me.
Warren Cucurullo.
He was in Crimson for the last
Adrian Belew.
Adrian Belew, and he just never called Adrian to do it because Crimson is Fripp's band, and he will throw a curveball, and I think because Adrian wrote so many of those amazing Crimson tunes, he thought, well, I'll put something else together. So he got Steve Vai and Tony Levin and the drummer, that insane drummer. And from all reports, it's incredible. So, yeah, I would love to go and see it. I'd love to interview.
Who's the drummer?
It's the guy from. Is it the guy from Tool?
Danny Carey.
Yeah.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, it was astonishing drummer. I mean, that's a rhythm section right there that will take your head off. So yeah, I will go and see them if I get the chance, and I would love to interview Adrian. I've met him a couple of times. I just think he's, wow, just one of the most creative guitar players. I got a call from the people that are putting his rig together because it had been so long since he'd used. They were pulling some stuff out of storage to get back into some of the early stuff that he'd done. So yeah, I'd love to interview him. Be amazing.
Nice. Nice. Struggling with an acoustic rig, says Gordon Rankin. How are you, Gordon?
Yeah, hey mate.
Struggling with an acoustic rig. So, was Madison's setup reflected the way the guitar sounded so great, or was it just an instrument into the pedal board for her sound? Thanks. Gordon, thank you for your generosity, mate. That's really incredibly generous. What was unusual about Maddie's acoustic guitar is that it was going into a deluxe reverb, and the deluxe reverb was mic'd.
Yep, and that's how she does it.
The acoustic guitar wasn't mic'd. Except that if she's talking, I would have left the vocal mic up and you would have heard a bit of it. But if she's not talking, she's just playing. In the intro, for example, that is a deluxe reverb mic'd.
Remember we did that show showing how that was an option. Everyone's going, no, it sounds rubbish. It's like, no, actually, it's really, really good.
Yeah, so that was that Martin OOC N12, something like that, 16. O cutaway body shape, 12 fret neck to body join, N for nylon, C for cutaway, 16 for the decoration maybe. But yeah, 12 fret cutaway nylon. Didn't sound like a nylon either, did it?
No.
So
the other thing is she plays very quiet.
Yeah, it was really quiet.
It's not, the amp isn't, raw. It's like very quiet and very controlled. So the amount of dynamic that she has, she's doing everything finger style but yeah, it's just beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go, Gordon. It's a great example, isn't it, of because if Dan and I played a nylon string through a deluxe reverb, it wouldn't sound like that.
No, it just wouldn't.
Yeah. Carl H. Daniel, Michael, good evening. Good evening,
Good
Carl.
evening.
A splendid Monday to you. So, it's 1949. There's no tellies or no strats. You've got a small bar gig and you possess all current knowledge. What gear do you choose from the period?
1949. What was out in 1949?
Well, there'd have been Gibson archtops, wouldn't there? Was the ES 175 out in 1949? I mean, obviously the Charlie Christian guitar definitely was. the ES150. Is that right? So it would be a Gibson. I would definitely go with a Gibson because Gibson was the shizzle.
What about what was going on with Gretsch?
In 1949, you could have had a single pickup P90 ES175.
Okay, great.
So pickup in the wrong place, but apart from that, yeah. So my knowledge of all those Gibson ES guitars between like the 125 and the 175 was Charlie Christian's a 150.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I just know that funky pickup.
God, it's bad, isn't it? Or yeah, a Fender lap steel and whatever the most powerful K&F amp was by that point. That's what I'd have.
Okay. So Gibson would have had the Gibson amps. There would have been other things around, like PA amps that you could have plugged into.
Well, there were guitar amps in 49, big time.
But they were for lap steels and stuff primarily, weren't they?
No, I mean, well into electric guitar by 1949.
Okay.
Yeah, well, if there was a 175 with a P90...
Yeah. I just remember,
Just remember the Telly was the first solid body guitar.
Yeah, but the Telly used the pickup from the lap steel, right?
Yeah.
Originally. And
yeah.
and that was a big, up to that moment, there was, lap steels were very, very popular. And I think a lot of the amps, before that point, were used for those things. And they all would have sounded fabulous. Get 10 lap steel amps, chain them together and just crank them.
Yeah, God. Well, I think Dan and I are showing our...
Ignorance?
Thank you. Of pre-1950s
52,
guitars.
yeah. That's true.
You'll have to tell us what you would be into, Carl. You know who would know about this? That utterly amazing guitar player who I see on Instagram every now and again. What's his name? He is a phenomenal player. Always got amazingly beautiful guitars.
Just going to replenish my...
He would know. Somebody please tell me who I'm thinking of.
Not Seth.
English guy.
Oh, right.
Someone's going to tell me who I'm talking about, and my mind has just gone blank. Dan's gone off to have a coughing fit. Jim Barber says, I have a 1949 Fender lap steel. That's really cool. A Jazzbox episode is the answer, says Athers. Yeah, it could well be. Chris Quinn, thank you. Charlie Christian played an ES150. Thank you. Braden Rodriguez says, did they have Quad Cortex in 1949? Because I still wouldn't play one. Oh.
I posed a question to Mick before, and I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Alex Farron. It's
Sorry?
just come to me. Alex Farron.
Right.
Have you ever seen Alex Farron play guitar?
No.
He is unbelievable.
Well, let's get him on the show.
I've asked him.
Okay.
He said, screw you guys. No, I think we're just trying to get schedules together. Yeah. There we are.
Very good.
There we are.
The Diamond Tremolo with an early tweed.
Jules Desmond. Jules Desmond says, Laney 1 watt versus Fender attenuated 20 watt. Does Big Iron feel survive at 80 dB, or is it clean amp plus pedals the only real low volume home solution? This is a great question.
It is a great question.
So the core of Jules' question is, you got your 20 watt amp. When you turn it down, is it doing anything? Same for 100 watt amps. Not in this context, but you got your 100 watt Marshall. There's no point having it if it's not turned on.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point on the volume control where it goes, hello,
Yep.
and that's too loud. So it's a great question. What do you think?
Because the problem is, you think, oh, well, 1 watt, that'll be fine. 1 watt, when it's working and saying hello into an efficient speaker, is hella loud. So,
100 dB.
Yeah.
You use the right speaker.
that's right. So I think it's more about it's situational. So you can have the same amp into a really inefficient speaker so that it's working and being quiet, but the problem that you've got is it's not about the sound, it's about the experience. And
There's a show we should do.
yeah.
Same amp, Peacekeeper, Celestian Peacekeeper,
Mm.
that Jensen that we took out of the deluxe reverb, and a 100 dB speaker.
Yep.
I think people would be really surprised at the
At the difference in sound pressure levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
That's one we
But
could do with the audience.
I think what we need to do is show people the beauty of a wet dry home setup with 2 really small amplifiers in a small room. Because the other thing with most playing at home situations is most of the time the rooms are small. So having a large amp in a small room, the amp doesn't have the space certainly for the low end frequencies to move. And it's a real thing with people playing at home because they want to be inspired and they want it to sound great. So what do? And I think 2 small amps with a little bit of headroom, wet dry, is super inspiring, because what happens is, because the volume isn't going through you, the wet dry thing gives you a sense of depth. It doesn't give you the sound pressure level, but it does give you a sense of depth and largeness that you won't get from a single small amplifier. I think that'd be a fun thing to do.
I do think you can approximate as well with pedals. Like if you love that small amp really cranked, you can do it with a Tweedy type pedal.
You can.
You can get it all to fart out and to.
There you go.
I'd always go with a bigger amp, bit more headroom, and
Small speaker overdrive.
yeah, Crazy Tube Falcon,
Yes, all that stuff.
Thorpe the J. There's plenty of great pedals out there that will. When I play a clean sound, I want the ability for it to be clean and have that huge bottom end.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist in a 1 watt amp.
No, it doesn't.
Really.
It doesn't.
It might exist in some 5 watt amps, but it's a great question. And I suppose whether you're talking about 1 watt or 20 watt joules, or 5 watts or 20 watts, or if you're talking about 20 watts or 60 watts, obviously the numbers go up because of the nature of logarithmic volume. Or if you're talking about 40 watts or 100 watts, the argument or the problem is still the same, just at different levels, different listening levels.
Yeah.
I'm right there with 50 and 100 watt amps. I love the sound of 50 watt amps, but I can never get a headroom out of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Even the 2-Rock, even the TS1, some days I'm like, I wish this was 100 watts.
Yeah.
Because when you want that super clear,
When you need
it only happens in 100 watt
Yeah.
amps. But the caveat, before everyone starts throwing things at the screen, I can't really use that volume anymore. So I've got to learn to unlove it, But yeah.
I know what you mean.
Does Big Iron Feel survive at low volume? No. I've never heard it. Have you?
No.
To your actual question, Jules, can you attenuate a big amp and make it sound bigger? I've never heard it convincingly. Now, recording is a different matter, right? Because once you record it and you hear it in your ears, if the headphones are the same level, it doesn't matter if the amp is 60 dB in the room or 110 dB in the room.
Yeah.
By the time it hits your ears at whatever volume your headphones are at or your monitor speakers, it doesn't make any difference. One of the big things you'll hear there is room if you've got room recording, but most music's not recorded that way. So the recording definitely irons it out a bit, and you can get massive sounds at low volume recorded, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's a different
Completely different.
saucepan of saucissons. Daniel Mincher, Legends, take one from the chat, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Okay. BV says, Mick, check your mobile for a 1949 telly-shaped object. Is this the Bigsby guitar? Oh. George Fullerton. No way.
What is it?
Huh. Interesting. Story about George Fullerton.
Oh.
That is very interesting. That is very interesting. Thank you, BV. Okay, we'll take one from the chat.
I'm looking.
There was one earlier about AI, and the question was, would you use AI to research your shows because the asker, and I'm going to find the name in a minute, was pleasantly surprised at the accuracy and good information they were getting from AI, asking AI
Right.
about information. Please tell me who that was. I thought it was kind of an interesting question. We don't. So do you use AI to research your shows? No, we don't. Or I don't, anyway. And the reason I don't is because AI is the world's biggest plagiarization machine. And at the moment, AI is not AI. It's simply brilliant at sifting a lot of data that already exists.
It's like a really good search engine.
It's a really good search engine, but a lot of the things I've researched on AI are fundamentally flawed and wrong because the information in the first place is flawed and
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
So, as a creator of original information, AI is trawling the work that I've spent years doing
I'm getting it wrong.
to, not just me, to summarize in a bite-sized thing. And that's great. You know, it's all good. If it gets you to an answer quickly. I think if any search engine, whether it's a very sophisticated one like AI or whether it's Google or whatever it is, if you really want to know, you've then got to go and find your primary sources.
Yeah.
And you've got to double check and you've got to check the information because there'll come a point where unless AI does actually become intelligent, I mean, generative AI is interesting in a number of ways, but it's still only working on existing material and making a bricolage of something new and extrapolating it to a small level. It just ingests itself. And that's it. So it just ingests itself and it ingests all the wrong information and it ingests all the information that exists. Somebody, somewhere, has to create new information.
Yeah.
So, and I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in, is actually knowing and actually doing the work and talking to primary sources. You know, as a prompter for better questions, maybe.
Yeah. So the AI thing is because we've got a chatbot on the Gigwig site and we've got an avatar version of me on there, but we've had to train it and give it all the good information because if you're relying on what it takes from online,
Yeah.
it's just wrong.
Yeah.
and it will interpret it and present it as fact.
Yeah.
And that's an
I
issue.
see that happening a lot.
So we've had to be really specific about the way that we train it, because it's very interesting interacting with it as a consumer. And what we find is that in all the information, for like 95% of stuff that we get asked is in manuals.
Yeah.
But for it's hard to sift through a manual and find what you want. It's a lot easier just to ask someone. But because the nature of the stuff that we make is complex, what we found was, I've got 2 full-time guys just doing emails and answering emails, and it's just inefficient. So we found a way for the customer to be able to interact and ask a question.
Yeah,
and get back a quality thing.
That's a fancy FAQ, isn't it?
Exactly that. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that comes down to the quality of the information that we train the
And as the
AI
user,
with.
you have to deal with it knowing its limitations.
Completely.
You have to go into it with an open mind about that it is
Completely.
limited.
Yeah. Because
And
one
so-
thing the AI won't do is say, I don't know.
Yeah.
The hardest thing, trying to get the thing to say, if you get to a point where you don't have the information, and don't go online, just say I don't know, and it won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could end up with some cobblers.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to have sort of an open mind about willing to work with the limitations of the technology, and B, just making sure that you double check that stuff. But no, I wouldn't use AI to do anything like that. I think it is a giant plagiarization machine. I think it is used predominantly for malevolent gain. The bad being done with AI is much more than the good,
Oh, that's interesting.
because
Okay.
it is a tool for mass manipulation. Because if you've got malevolent and unpleasant, corrupt forces, if they have got a route into everybody's pocket, and they've got a technology that can feed them crap, they will, and they are. So that's why I'm nervous about anyone believing any answer they get via AI, because it is a mass manipulation tool and it is a mass plagiarization tool. I mean, all those arguments about it putting loads of people out of work and all of that, yes, it will. Yes, it's going to. So did the threshing machine. I don't know. I don't know if you can get into that. And then finally, my final massive and biggest problem with it is, what the fuck are we going to do as humans? We have to do something. The only point of being alive is to do something.
Right.
So if you don't have to do anything,
Yeah.
because it's all done,
I'll do this.
you then have a meaningless life. And
That's what I'm gonna do.
the value is in the work, isn't it? For me, the value is in the work. The value is in, if you're going to be a good guitar player, the value is in the 10,000 hours. The value is in the research. The value is in, and I'm not, I appreciate this is, what's the best kind of herb I can add to my chicken? Yeah, you can probably trust AI for that.
Yeah.
Or the very, as a great search engine, as a pointer. But I think it has a malevolent side. I think it is a mass plagiarization machine. And I think its ability to manipulate and corrupt is too big.
Do you think the mass plagiarization thing is different to the technology that we've had up to this point?
Anything that shortcuts
Yeah.
is, like, search engines are one thing. And I think if you are presented with, if you go onto the gear page and you say, what's the best pickup? It's very clearly somebody's opinion,
Yeah.
because it's their name's there, and then everyone starts disagreeing with them. I think, various AI engines present it to you as the final deal, and plenty of people are smart enough to go, I just need to check that. I need to. A great many more people are not smart enough to do that.
Okay.
and just take it as verbatim and as truth. That is the opportunity for mass manipulation. Now, that's always been there, potentially, with things like newspapers and stuff like that. Again, I think there's a difference because be interesting. It will be interesting to see how people react in the coming years.
Okay.
Like, people know that if you don't want that point of view, don't read that newspaper.
Yeah. Okay.
They know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Dan's enthusiastic about AI and its possibilities.
It's not. Well, it's not even. It's not that. It's here. What can it do to help me? Okay, so the business that I run, the gig rig, would have been impossible pre-internet because it's such a niche thing that for us to be able to do it and reach the people, before the internet wouldn't have happened. So in that sense, the technology has been helpful. The AI thing, the technology can be helpful when you understand its limitations and the opportunities that exist with it. So I'll give you an example. One thing that's really interesting is that when I talk to a customer, let's say the customer's had a poor experience with something, but when they talk to me, they'll sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
it's very hard for me to get an honest reaction.
That. Yeah.
But the information that I get from when customers interact with the chatbot,
Yeah.
it gives me a lot of stuff to go, oh, okay, people aren't happy with this. And I can disseminate that information quickly. And yeah, but I'm using it to do a very specific job, and in a way that, it enables me. I've got two really talented guys that are. I just don't want them sat answering. The problem that I've got is because they're answering emails of questions that are in manuals.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You know what I mean?
I get that. I get the challenge of that.
Yeah.
And I guess every customer service department up and down the land is dealing with that.
Yeah,
I'm
just trying to do more with less. As in, I'm just trying to be as efficient as I possibly can because, especially nowadays, business is hard.
Yeah.
Anyone that's out there is running their own business, and it is really hard. And you're just trying to make things as efficient, but trying to give people. I want people to be inspired with their gear, and I want people to, have these amazing experiences, and that's what I'm really passionate about. I'm not passionate about, having spending all my time fixing, admin problems and all that stuff. So if I can find something that's going to help me get my focus back on
I get that
stuff.
I get that. I get that. And the use of technology in order to help you do that. That's what we've done, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we've done.
But you're absolutely right, because in the same way, technology has always been used with malevolent, intent.
Yeah, but it just hasn't had the pervasiveness that it has now.
And that has gone, you can go back to the printing press, and that the ability to reach people on the scale. AI is the tricky thing with AI is who's in control of it. Because
that is the key question, isn't it?
That's right.
Because who are the biggest investors? And who is, I mean, if you follow the investment story on AI, it's looking pretty shaky.
Sure.
because they're not getting the cash back. They're not realizing anything back yet.
Yeah,
So there's,
but I'll give you an example, right? So you've got this firm, they've got a bot, and it's building some code for them. And the firm says to the bot specifically, do not touch this source code. Everything that you do has to be supportive of this source code. And the bot says, yep, no problem. The bot creates another bot to go and manipulate the source code so it didn't do it, right? And another one. There was some military war games where they had these AI things flying these planes, and they've got to operate within these rules. And they're saying, okay, well, these are the rules, and you must adhere to these rules, and there's no getting around it. So what the AI did was it destroyed the headquarters, so it didn't have to follow the rules anymore. You know, so I was like, all that stuff is like, so that's what I meant. Like, who's in charge? Who's actually calling the shots of this stuff? That's the thing that is,
pretty scary. So do we? No, I don't. I value work. I value the human effort. I value art. I value. I think the work's worth something. I just think the work is worth something. And then, do you? And then it gets chewy, doesn't it? We'll just finish this here. Are you prepared to do it so that you can be more wealthy? Well, there's a lot of things I won't do to be more wealthy, like sell heroin, for example, or beat people up for money. Not that I could, but you have a line, don't you, where you go, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather not do that. And that whole argument of the whole world's doing it, so we should all pile in. I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with that.
Yeah.
I want to live in a cottage by the sea where nobody goes and I can kill stuff and eat it. You know, that's kind of that's where my head is at the moment. Anyway, sorry, massive tangent. Let's get back to talking about guitars. It's the debate of our time, isn't it? Apart from Angine de Poitrine, it is the debate of our time. I did wonder if Angine de Poitrine might be AI for a minute.
Did you?
AI couldn't do that.
Now, this was my question. I think one of the reasons that they've hit so hard is that the level of creativity and just amazingness with it for this, just playing two-piece instrumental stuff. I think only humans can do that. Also, do you think that they could do what they do with a completely digital system? Because what he's doing is so, like, he's got polka dots painted on his feet, and he's interacting with everything, very real, and that guitar sound is so direct and on, and I just think that is such a great thing for analog. It's just wonderful.
If you don't know what Angine as we said earlier, if you don't know what Angine de Poitrine is, I think it means angina.
Does it?
Yeah, in French. I think that's what it means.
It's so good.
Google it and just be amazed. Right. Let's see if we have any questions coming in. This Friday, by the way, be a show with Joey Landreth. It's a monster show because we just went tangent crazy. I haven't edited it yet, and I'm semi not looking forward to doing it because it's going to take me about a day at least to edit it. So, but it was a wonderful chat with Joey, kind of similar to the chat we had with Maddie in that, there's a bit of geekery, but what's important is the humanity of it, the connection of it, the music of it, just a look at someone who's in a good place in their life and enjoying communicating with humans. And it's a very lovely chat that we had.
Yeah, it's great. Jason Hattrick says, Angine de Poitrine from my home province. I wish everyone understood how not that far outside the lines they are for his home province. Wow. Amazing.
There's loads of people. Has the backlash started yet?
No.
No. I wondered if people will turn against them. Yes, Pick My Chew says technical garbage mixed with a bad gimmick.
I think they're fabulous.
Okay, Statute 1808. Statute 1808 says my amp sounds different. Doesn't have any punch. When I have the Jam Retrovibe plugged in, even when the Retrovibe is off. Is this a bug or a classic thing with these effects? Okay, it is true bypass, so it shouldn't be doing anything. So what you have is a capacitance issue, I would say. Do you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Repeat the experiment before Dan gets into telling you the real reason. Repeat the experiment using 2 tiny short cables and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting. One of the things when people have a true bypass pedal board and they say, yeah, but it's different than plugging into the amplifier. What they do is they take the input out from the first pedal and they plug it into the amp and they go, look, it sounds clear and detailed. And they plug it in and it's like it's all true bypass. What they've done is they've added a whole bunch of cable capacitance because every patch cable, every foot switch, and then the second long cable back to the amplifier, that's all load. That capacitance, it's all,
Heavy load.
it's all heavy load, baby. So, I mean, one thing to try is a buffer at the end of the board so that the only load then is the pedals, and that can just be a Boss tuner. Try putting your tuner after your overdrives so that the drives are still getting the coil inductance and stuff. That can really help. I mean, this is when it's really important to understand buffers aren't the enemy, but the lack of knowledge about what they do and where to put them, that can cause issues. We've done loads of shows on them before, so, go and check that out. But it might be that you need a well-placed buffer on your board to get a bit of that punch back. That's what I would...
Yeah.
The last show we did on buffers was actually quite comprehensive. And if you just spend a bit of time watching that, and that will give you some pointers that will fix that problem.
There we are. There we
you
are.
go.
Okay, we'll take one more and we'll get 15 minutes of our collective lives back so Dan and I can get on with proper meat feast this evening. It's been a long time.
Do you have plans?
I've got no plans yet.
Okay.
And have you something in mind?
No.
Because
Just excitement.
We're going to do some work on the bar tomorrow, the new room, and I'm excited about that.
I am very excited about that. We start off the excitement with meat feast is what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to for those of you. Actually, I don't know if Catherine has shared the picture with me. She may have done. No one's seen the bar yet, so because you're our favourite humans,
You are our favourite humans.
I'm going to share a little idea of what the bar is going to look like. And bear in mind, this is not mixed or mastered yet. It's simply tracked, all right? But this will give you an idea of how the bar is going to be.
Check it out. It's the bar. It is so cool. So the plan is we're going to be doing interviews in there. VCQ will move to the bar.
I think we're just going to spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah. There's, the whole thing. Joey Landreth walked into a bar. So good.
Dean, if you're watching, Dean Simonini, who came to the Experience Day on Friday, Dean bought us a very nice bottle of bread and butter Pinot Noir.
It did.
There it
It's
is.
on the, yeah,
There it is.
beautiful.
That bottle there, Yanis gave us.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and some other friends. So by all means, send us booze.
Yeah, it's really it's going to be great.
Got some lighting to sort out, obviously.
Now we are post 10 years in this crazy game. We're going to mix things up a little bit, and the bar's going to give us an opportunity to do some more fun things in here. So it gives us a sense of excitement and enthusiasm, which was great.
Yes,
I'm
it's
very
good to be
keen.
enthusiastic.
Yes.
Good.
So last one, you said?
BV is reminding everyone of the 10 golden Tonekins campaign that's still open at that Pedal Show store.
Yes, thank you, mate.
You can win stuff like coming to see us for pedalboard builds. You can win pedals. You can win TPS gift vouchers. You can win all kinds of stuff. So thank you, BV, for reminding everyone. Yes. Good. Well, there we are. What's the name of the bar? Says Neil Welveen. It's, have a guess.
That pedal bar.
Schwangry Bar.
Schwangry Bar, that's what I was going to say.
Well,
Schwangry
I thought we
Bar.
decided that, no?
Yeah, we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schwangry Bar. And we're going to have some signs made. Yeah. Paul Stacey will be moving in, says Johnny T. Maybe. Yes. Good. All right. Look, thanks for being with us this week, everybody.
Yes, thanks, everyone.
We appreciate your company, as always. And yeah, Friday will be Joey Landreth with any luck. And don't forget, if you're in the UK and Europe, UK and Ireland it is, they're coming back. Oh, I'm going to check this. Brothers Landreth are going to be around the UK and Ireland in April. So if you fancy seeing them, check out to see if they're coming near you. Let me just make sure it is UK and Ireland. I think it is.
They are on fire at the moment. I mean, they're always amazing, but I don't know, there's something going on with those boys at the moment. There's just the quality of the songs and the performances are just fabulous, and the drummer's been lifting and he's hitting heavy, and it's just wicked.
It is indeed. UK and Ireland tour throughout April. Brothers Landreth, please go and see them. And anyone in the UK, please come see my band. Like the Brothers Landreth, but much shitter. In the Oval area. Woohoo! Check it out. Look, there's your QR code for tickets. Look at that. Beautiful.
Go and see Mick in full flight. Honestly, anyone that has not seen this man play live, it is a glorious thing.
That's kind
I know.
that's kind of you,
I
Daniel.
remember every time I've seen you do your thing when I've not been on stage with you, and it's like, yeah, man, it's really, you've got that thing that you can only get from playing live for a long time, you know, and it's that obvious that you've done that since you were a kid, and it's really great.
Bless you.
Really,
mate.
really
That's
worthwhile.
kind of you. That's
Yeah.
kind of you. Good.
Except for when you've got a 62 SG and you can just go.
See you Friday. Thanks for being with us,
Yeah.
Daniel. Play us out. That was my punk dancing.